Hey, good morning.
Hi, Jay.
Oh, pretty good, thanks. How are you doing?
Pretty well so far.
Let's wait a couple of minutes for others to join. Hey, Samir. Hey, Yumlin.
Hi, morning.
Yeah, good morning. Let's still wait a few more moments for others to join. Starting slowly today. The, the meeting minutes or agenda. In the meantime. I hope you can see this. Well, maybe just logistics. I managed to, I asked Kevin, in fact, to upload all the recordings and, well, not really meeting minutes, but the AI generated summary of every meeting. And so this is available in the Google Drive in the meetings folder, CLA Works in meetings folder. That's kind of logistics, but probably, yeah, we'll continue doing this. Okay, so hey, Varka, thanks for joining.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. We are starting slowly today, and the main goal was to review the recovery spec feedback. The spec and the feedback by Mariusz. He's still not here, so we can start with any opens. I had one related to the presentation that we are planning to show at the Global Summit about OBMF Workstream, basically an update and status. The deadline to submit the presentation will be the September the 29th. So it's a week and a half time left. Basically, what I was thinking about doing is to put there the additional, any updates related to, for example, OBMF over USB directly. And, with all this updates. I think we would spend time. I would like to spend some time next week to review with you, collect your feedback, maybe add some content that I miss, and yeah, basically that would be in the preparation. So probably that would be, collecting the feedback, reviewing next week.
So JJ, the plan is to basically present both over MCTP, OBMF over MCTP, and OBMF directly over USB on the global summit.
Well, I was thinking that this would make sense to basically, as a status update, tell about the direction that, I mean, we all need to, I mean, everybody to voice their feedback, but I was thinking this would be one of the important updates compared to what we presented in the previous EMEA summit, during the EMEA summit. At that time, it was just the idea in the directionally high level direction was MCTP based only transport. But yeah, I think this is one of the important changes or news that I think it would make sense to announce.
Okay, I understand.
And any other things that probably we can, I mean, this is the first thing that came to my mind right now, but probably we can add some more content. So I'll have a draft ready for next week. We'll try to upload this probably early next week, like Monday-ish or so that you guys have at least a chance to look into this offline, and then on Wednesday
Okay.
provide feedback.
JJ, I was looking at the presentation that Marius had presented, where he was showing that the experiments they have done on the USB, directly on the USB. I couldn't find those slides. Do you know where they are?
I think it's this, if they are anywhere, then they would be in this folder, OBMF over USB. And well, I'm opening, I'm sharing, I hope you can see this.
Yeah, I can see it.
This is the presentation that Mariusz presented.
Oh, okay. So it's the PPT there. Okay.
Yeah, that's the PowerPoint presentation. And well, it includes some like this slide I added later as feedback, this one as well, because so it's not the original presentation alone, it's the presentation with, comments, feedback, and all of that, right? So
Okay.
I titled this slide, clearly Intel's feedback, but this one is at least, I should perhaps have added this somewhere in here, that this was proposal or something like that on how exactly this kind of a slide, I think, could be some content that we would probably show at the global summit as well, showing that there's the USB interface, direct support, and then MCTP layer for anything else. MCTP, well, this is a kind of yeah, it's not 100% correct, because, for example, recovery protocol, it does not use MCTP. So we would need to, yeah, this requires some updates.
Okay.
But basically this was yeah, like, the initial idea on I'm gonna just focus on this side, but a lot of EMF, but yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. comment for myself here, since I'm planning to reuse this probably. I'll be able to see the comment. Okay, so that you can find this presentation in the when you go to specifications, then OBMF over USB binding specification native, the native one, and then you will see the PowerPoint as well as the spec, the proposal itself. No, I'm not sure if this is the one where, yeah, this is where I added some comments. Yeah, so this is where we are. Okay.
Yes, I'm able to see it. I was looking at the PDF. I didn't look at the presentation, I think, in the same directory.
Okay, yeah, good. Let me see, do we have, yeah, we still don't have our main presenter, Mariusz. I think, yeah, well, let me start with still, are there any opens that this covers? How do I hide this? Okay, let me just move it here. Okay, so are there any other opens that we have, any updates or anything like that? Okay, well, if there are no opens, I think, well, so the recovery spec that Mariusz uploaded, it's again available in the drive here. I remember providing some feedback there, but I think that's a different, maybe an updated copy of the document that Mariusz uploaded. I recall, well, one of the obvious pieces of feedback was kind of a question that we as a group would have to answer, or I mean, the authors of this document would have to answer is the question why we need a dedicated protocol over USB if there is the DFU. I think Mariusz answered that question last week. Maybe I think he was planning to continue this week. He had a dedicated presentation on that, I think. But there were a few other pieces of feedback that at least I had. And one of them was, let me see, I'm not seeing my comments here, so I'll try to just find these pieces and what I remember. Just one moment. Where's the table of contents? Oh, okay. So I recall I had some questions, concerns, and this was about the USB recovery, section 8.5.5. Well, so there were some technical details that, in my opinion, they are not 100% correct because, for example, this spec says that the control transfers would require some sort of recovery through clear feature. Per my understanding, that's not how the, I mean, control pipes are special on USB, but this is something that it's a small technical detail in my opinion. A very similar kind of a recovery mechanism that is being mentioned in this section is about resetting either the port or the whole bus. And so my thinking here was that, well, first of all, I don't think there is such a need to reset the whole bus if one of the devices is not operating correctly. But the other thing is it relies on this mechanism that is, per my understanding, is optional to drive both D plus and D minus lines low. So I'm not sure how this is really, how broadly it is supported by USB devices. That's perhaps we would need to.
Isn't that a complete USB reset which requires re-enumeration of the bus?
That would be the case, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my other concern, that yeah, one of the devices may not be behaving correctly. How do we reset just this device and with a hub? Per my understanding,
I'm here. Sorry.
Hey, Mariusz.
Sorry. Yes.
Thanks
There
for
was a
joining. So we
question.
started reviewing the document.
Thank you.
According to the plan, even despite you were not present.
No, it's better than I'm not there, because then you can be fully transparent, because maybe you now we can.
I think we are
can
transparent all
explain
the
what I
time.
want to explain here. Not everyone working on OCP recovery is familiar with USB. Many people are not familiar with USB. Some of that is actually explaining that I want to make sure that the USB is very reliable transport. In order to support very reliable transport, I'm asking for supporting the clear feature explicitly on the endpoint halt, even though that if you are using endpoint 0, it should automatically install it. But the idea is that if you are issuing the clear feature, it's a command that you can issue even if the endpoint is not installed. Then it means that you will actually clear the state of the OCP recovery. That's the idea, issuing clear feature manually. Then the attempts to do the USB port reset or bus reset, it's depending on if you are connected directly, like a point-to-point, then you do the bus reset. If you have the full infrastructure, which means that you have more than one endpoint, then you have to have the USB hub. Then I'm explaining you will do the USB port reset, which means that you are executing this USB port reset via set port feature that is always supported by the hub. It's a mandatory function, and you can do this driving D plus D minus. Like you suggested, it's kind of a repetition, but I want to make sure that people understand that there are specific functions. And why it's important, because, for example, on the USB 2.0 high speed and higher, you have phi, and then the D plus D minus is actually detected at the separate IP, which makes this feature much more reliable, because you have a separation between phi and controller. And I wanted to make this highlight that I expect the interrupt from controller to be that will detect this.
So yeah, that was. I'm just speaking from my memory, which is not really good. But this reset feature, this is what you're saying is this would be basically separate IP that would detect this kind of a reset.
On the USB 2.0 high speed and higher. On the USB 2.0 full speed and lower, no. Then it's controller.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how this is implemented. Basically, if
this is exactly must be implemented, and the recommendation is to implement this on phi layer, not on the controller layer. That's why it's so reliable, because I found that on some of the hardware implementation, you can get actually a separate interrupt from separate IP if port reset and bus reset or bus reset is executed, which is very reliable.
How broadly supported are those types of implementations that support this?
I took just off the shelf MXP. just off the shelf. Then I looked at some NVIDIA proprietary solution. It was implemented the same way, because if you have a PHY, then PHY is responsible for detecting, because you will not get those D plus D minus forwarded. PHY is actually exposed via UMTI plus. There is a link defined between the controller and the PHY. This was in early days of USB. There is a really good isolation. The only IP that sees D plus D minus is the PHY in this case. So it must be detected by PHY. It's kind of enforced by the standard, to my understanding. And by the way, it's a recommendation, because I explained this is because I want to make this USB very reliable.
Okay, yeah. Well, my concern was only about how this is really in practice. How is this really being implemented?
Let me check for you what is in, because I was sending email about this. Kind of there was a specific question around it. Let me go with this. Mark and read. What was there? OCP.
And so regarding
the only identification of this D plus D minus reset is by PHY, because D plus D minus is then abstracted by the specific PHY2 controller protocol. So it must be PHY on everything which is 2.0 high speed and higher.
Okay. But this is in addition to that. I mean, it reuses the standard definition that is defined in the USB spec, right? But this was optional, if I recall correctly.
No, it's not optional. You have to have it. A clear feature is not optional. Clear feature is
clear
mandatory.
feature definitely it's not. But again, in this case, actually, I think my feedback was that on control pipes, you don't have to do this because it's.
But you are actually executing this. Yes, that was recommendation to have it. Yes.
Those pipes. I mean, those pipes halt whenever. Halt on the control pipe is different from.
I understand, but you have to clear the stall by issuing it, or by issuing any other command. But if you manually execute this clear feature, then you will get that command, and that can tell you that something is wrong with your OCP recovery implementation, and you have to clear the buffers. That was the idea. You can even issue this clear feature without the stall. There's no correlation. You can execute clear feature only if the stall condition is detected. You can execute the clear feature just for recovery. And this is the recommendation for the host side to issue this clear feature to recover the endpoint.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is, yeah, this is kind of redundant, but it may help in, in
implementation. This is implementation recommendation, how to implement it. So I'm recommending to implement it to be intercepted on the clear feature, because that gives you ability to make this, let's say, much more reliable. That's the recommendation. Yes.
Okay.
And I believe me that this all of the previous was kind of a off-the-shelf implementation of the USB. This one is really about kind of how USB can help with improving the OCP recovery. Because when there was SM bus, we have to have GPIOs. No questions about it, because SM bus is not reliable. Sorry. The whole point with this USB that provides you this isolation between PHY and the controller could effectively end up in a situation that maybe we will be able to kill all of the GPIOs. Why it's important? Because we are working on OBMF to aggregate GPIOs. So it's a chicken and egg problem. You need to have a reliable USB. because
of
everything
course,
is
and
virtual.
that's one of the things that USB needs to kind of prove that it's reliable enough
Exactly.
in these situations. And yeah, it's a very important topic. Mariusz, we kind of started here when you were not present, but I think last week you didn't really finish. Well, the question is, what is your plan for on how to proceed? Should we focus on this document
I had a
first?
meeting with security team, and I want to collect the feedback from this group, because it's a CLA group with very kind of a silicon-oriented, BMC-oriented, kind of a people working on specific topics. So I want this to be properly, to get the feedback. If the feedback will allow me to fix the issues like you pointed out, this SMBus being still like a majority, I just removed that. So maybe I will add one more graph, and when it's there, and I will get the feedback, I will put it on the public site for review beyond the security team and the OBMF team. And I will wait. And then in the meantime, I want to work on assigning the subclass from USB IF. And when I will collect all of the feedback, we will release it. And in ideal world, it will be on this summit, but I don't know. It's a tough.
Yeah, I think that was that's what you would want, right? To publish this before or at the more or less the same time as the global.
I would like to release it,
Yeah.
but honestly, I don't know if it's even feasible.
Okay.
And by the way, question to you, JJ, it's not related to OCP recovery, because I've got okay from the security team that owns this spec. But for OBMF, if you can sync with John Young, I need this one email. Yes, please proceed. Something like that. You remember, I copied you as a chair of this group. Yeah, you are a chair of
Yeah.
OBMF?
What email about?
About because to hardware work group about can we ask the USB IF chair to help us with assigning this OBMF subclass that we are asking for.
Oh, and didn't I respond to that email?
No, you can't. I don't care if you respond. I need John Young because it must go from the security chair, which I've got for this document that we are reviewing, and I need from John Young because he's chair of the hardware work group, which we are part of.
Okay, I will ping John. Make sure that he will respond. But
this mail can be buried somewhere, right? That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that you were already moving this forward, and
no, I'm waiting for John to respond.
Okay, I will ping John and make sure that he will respond and say yes.
I will copy the email name so you can make a quick search. And why John? Because
I'm aware of that email. I thought that I missed something, but looks like this is John. So
no, you don't. You were just copied, just like me. I'm waiting for those people that are part of the. Oh yeah, John is part of the steering committee from our hardware work group, which we are just part of this. Sorry, we can go back to the review.
So I'll do this later today. So Mariusz, I was more asking about your plan for today discussion. Did you want to complete the?
No.
You started the DFU.
No. I want to answer questions if there are any, and review this document if you see any issues with it.
But I think you didn't really finish the DFU related question, did you? Last week?
I believe I did, but if you have any other questions, I can answer.
I think I don't really have any specific questions. Others may have. I'm not sure. So where was this uploaded?
OCP coverage. Maybe it was not uploaded. I'm not sure. I was just sharing it. Let me share it again. There was a lot of research, so I didn't feel like posting. It was just
Yeah, I
like
don't see this here.
just let me go with the analysis.
But I would expect this to be in this folder. So if you could upload the.
I don't. If I want to upload it, this document, I will have to go through the legal. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was very valuable. It explained.
Thank you. I appreciate the feedback, but you know how much it will take for me to go to publish it. Sharing with the closed, we signed a CLA, right? So I was able to share it with all of the people because there is a signed CLA. Every company signed the CLA. But some of the claims were, maybe I will go back to one value point that I would like to highlight. Was that this set of the slides? Should I share it now? Do you want?
You can share it. Yeah, I'm trying to somehow. I don't know if there is a way to hide the bar at the top when I'm sharing because I'm not able to see. You know, but yeah, go ahead and I will stop sharing.
I can't because you are sharing.
I stopped sharing.
Thank you. I believe. Let me share. Okay. So we were talking about different aspects of the DFU, and I would like to highlight the value prop for OCP recovery. The value prop for OCP recovery is this very small diagram on the right-hand side. What we did, we just like pointed out that it's the least impactful way of implementing OCP recovery because it's not using any USB resources. Actually, it's using 0 USB resources. It's slightly slower because of that, but the good value is that it's actually using literally zero time in runtime when it's not used. There is no impact, no nothing. Everything is using the endpoint 0, which exists either way. There is no requirement for polling, no requirement for anything like that. So this is very efficient, very cost-effective implementation, and it's not using. It's using literally zero cases, zero resources.
Basically, referring to the fact that it uses the control pipe as well for transferring the data.
Yes, and so it's not introducing anything like we had this discussion about MCTP, etc. It's using literally 0 time when it's not in use, which is more efficient, and also very important. If the endpoint will decide, he can support up to 64 kilobyte messages, which can make the whole upgrade extremely efficient, comparing even to PLDM, MCTP PLDM. Yes, there is slight overhead of the endpoint 0 because of the shorter messages that are sent, but effectively you can send 64 KB. Just sending data 0, data 1, data 0, data 1. I explained that in the document, right? How it's being sent. Discovery is simple. Everything is static, and this took the goodness from the DFU. 0 cost and the static discovery. What it's better, there's no dynamic switching of the modes. We just assume the OCP recovery is always present, always. And that gives us, for example, capability to enable during the update, even recovery update, if this is performed some other functions, if you want to in the future. There's nothing prevents us from doing it. So there is no this runtime boot time interface presence that is critical for servers. We have both. The OCP recovery just exists. You can query the state at any time. You can query the IROT state. You can do this everything that you want in runtime. And when you are switching, you can actually start the update. Also, it abstracts the storage. OCP recovery is not about storage. OCP recovery is about this, let's say, multiple addressed ranges. And that's it. Very simple protocol, but the value is that it's abstracting the storage. There might be no storage. And by the way, in the case of OCP recovery, in many cases there is no storage involved. It could be, but you can load everything into the internal SRAM or whatever space you have, non-persistent, and just use it that way. So OCP is focused on stateless boot in the future, while DFU was focused on persistent storage. Everything in DFU was about updating the flash, resetting, and just executing back. While OCP is pretty much stateless, which means that this OCP image can be pushed into the SRAM, and maybe in the future we can even migrate everything to the streaming boot if you want to. Because maybe it will be easier, right? You just run one protocol and you can push everything and you're done. And then when you run the MCTP, you just focus on the value like sensors, effectors, cache information.
I personally think this makes a lot of sense.
I know I don't want to promote it as a main use case of this OCP recovery over USB, but many people are asking me that question, so I said fine. I thought about it. But what we can tell. Proven data center grade secure solution, while DFU is consumer focused. Yes, that will be, please don't share it. That's my biased opinion. My bias, that's not even NVIDIA opinion, that's my biased opinion. But the fact is it was last updated in 2007. The signing was CRC 32. We are on post-quantum right now. So we are signing, we are encrypting, we are creating. And by the way, OCP allows you to do it. And it kind of, OCP defines, if you look at the OCP spec for recovery, most is about security. Most. This USB transport is what, 1 chapter, 2 pages? I don't remember. It's really tiny. And also there is no de facto standard for DFU. I found at least 2 different standards are in place. Apple is using something that they call DFU, but apparently it's completely not DFU. It's OEM. It's not even presenting itself as DFU. It probably uses some of that aspects, but when they call DFU, that's completely not something like that. It's even more advanced than this OCP recovery because the encryption is enforced as well. STM also uses the derivative of DFU. They found out that DFU is very constraining because it provides only the single image, single binary, while in the typical cases now you have bootloader, you have multiple images, you need to have like addressing, and there is no good way to do it. And on the right-hand side, you see the value prop of this solution. You have SMBus, which is already defined. You can have I3C, which is defined in the spec that I sent to you, and you have USB. So we are addressing more and more of the infrastructure on the USB, on the USB I3C and SMBus. So pretty much we are covered. I don't know about any device that is not supporting one of those right now. At least one of those interfaces is supported, and the value is like that. You have common application layer on, for example, BMC. You have common unified OCP ROM, and you have data center OCP or recovery orchestration already in place, because honestly, you don't see if it's SMBus. There is no difference from the OCP data center orchestration layer. It's hidden for you. So that is a value. And the question was, can we leave if someone is actually supporting the DFU and not the OCP recovery? That's not the OCP answer. It's a system integrator answer. System integrators will check if they like it or not. OCP can say that from OCP perspective, we have this investment into the SMBus. We will continue to invest into the I3C. and we now want to also invest into the USB. So pretty much that's a kind of a short summary of all of the findings on one pager. Questions about it?
I think in general, I agree with the high level, direction. I mean, justification and reasoning behind it. I think one piece of feedback that I received from others within Intel was that what they did not like about DFU was the use of the control pipe, and yeah, you're presenting this as a simplification, but on the other hand, it may be kind of a drawback as well. I think there are pros and cons.
I will stop sharing and let me try to stop share. I will try to stop share. Can you reshare again this document that you were reviewing, and I can show you one field that I created.
Oh, okay. Let me reopen it. It's the document that you uploaded. Yeah.
I know, but you were sharing it, so I thought you have this handy.
Yeah.
My point is like that. I fully agree with that. And if you will find out that we need faster solution, we can rev up the OCP recovery transport to support the bulk, and it will be still transparent. If you go to the OCP recovery, there is this descriptor. And the descriptor will tell you the version of OCP recovery over USB that is being supported. Just go to the USB interface.
In this section.
8.5. Let's go whatever endpoint. Yeah, any one of those will work. Don't ask me. It was this interface descriptor. Interface descriptor shows like this: B length, B descriptor, B interface, number of interface. Alternate settings is not supported, B num of endpoints. See, if you will expose two endpoints in the future, you will just change the descriptor to number 2, right? You see? The interface class will not change. The interface class subclass will not change. You will say that you are not using 0 endpoints. You are using 2 endpoints, and that means that it's upgradable, because B interface protocol is set to version 1. I'm okay to go to version 2 if we need it, and I'm happy to do it. But I started small, and honestly, I found out that this control endpoint, if properly used, could have higher throughput. That's because of the 64 KB being like so. If you really want high throughput, and if you'll find that we don't, because I focused on resources, on impact on runtime. People don't like any impact on runtime, even if it's NAC. And I fully agree with that if you can remove it. So this one is really like a 0 impact protocol right now, 0. I mean, it's not introducing any additional polling, any additional thing.
Doesn't this mean that this will require a little bit more of handling in the code and firmware stack, basically, as opposed to, for example, if you could use the bulk pipe, you could rely more on.
Point taken. I will check it. I will
Exactly.
check it. I will check it. Thank you. It's a good point. As I said, at NVIDIA, maybe we can afford some shim layer, and maybe it's very easy for us, right? But I understand that. By the way, adding option with 0 or adding option with 2, that could be actually, we can make it transparent just by providing this is version 1, this is version 2. They can coexist at the same time because it's not changing the protocol this time. It's not like changing the protocol, it's just changing the way you send in and out and you receive the messages. I will validate that, but to my understanding, as I said, I was really preserving the resources.
Okay, yeah, I understand. He no additional endpoints, nothing else, but
no
also
polling, no knocking.
that may be seen as an advantage, but it may also be as a kind of a drawback.
I agree, but on the other hand, I said we started with people telling me that control endpoint will have 12 megabytes per second on the USB 2.0 has. And I said that's not true. They did the calculation again, and we ended up on 30 megabytes to 60 megabytes per second, because effectively, if you are not utilizing it, it's not like you are guaranteed, because someone misinterpreted. There is a hard allocation of 20% of the USB for control, but that's not really true. You can go easily beyond that if you are not utilizing this for other reasons. So the whole point is that the control endpoint is not really high priority, but if there is no other traffic, it will be high priority. Effectively, it will become one. And this is faster than anything we have, right? Only the SPI is faster, local SPI. We don't have many faster interfaces, honestly, on the board. I mean, like a sideband. Of course, PCI is much faster. No questions about it.
Okay. Well, anyway, thanks for. I mean, that was.
It was thought through. Every aspect was evaluated many times, and I'm glad that we got those questions, because that they are valid questions.
Okay, and at least what I remember, I didn't really have any more feedback that was related to the recovery, related to the use of the control pipe, and probably that was all what I had. I mean, there was some editorial, but that was...
Editorial, I believe I changed, because you pointed out that on the beginning it was still talking, oh, you have to do it over SM bus, even though we introduced I3C and USB. Yes, that I did. The rest is pretty much okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if others had any other feedback. If not, then I think that's all.
Do we have AMD on the call? I'm sorry, it's like, let me check it.
It actually did not look at who later joined. One moment, let me find this window.
No.
No, we don't, I think. So
I will have a question to ASpeed and Nuvoton, because ASpeed and Nuvoton typically owns the host site. Do you see a problem with implementing this control pipe the way it's described? Maybe you can check your implementation. I don't want to make your life harder. I was hoping.
Yeah, Marius, I was not there on the last week's call, so I am looking at the recovery spec, the OCP recovery spec.
Thank you.
And
thank you. I'm waiting for the feedback from BMC vendors. Very important for me, because and the BMC vendor, right? It's also will be very important, because
I will get the right people to review this document and get back to you.
Please take a look also at the I3C and SM bus. As I said, if there's some, because it's very old spec, and honestly, it was very hard for me to change it. I found some problems with how initially the commands were defined. I have to slightly like upgrade the ranges of some of the. But my point is like that. By utilizing this control endpoint, I was hoping not to make any trouble for the BMC vendors, because you will be the agent to update everything.
Yeah, understand. We'll take a look at it specifically from. I mean, I've seen the recovery for the I2C, I3C, but I haven't seen the USB. So we will focus on that part.
Yeah, so this is the section that actually describes the USB only.
It's tiny.
I see that 8.5.
Yeah, it's really like 3 pages or so.
It's not too long, yeah. Pretty concise.
So, Marcus, same here. I will share with the relevant people that they're implementing this stuff, and we'll get back to you.
Thank you. I want
we
your feedback before you can send it to me, or you can leave in the SharePoint. You can just respond to all of this. CLA is not a big group, right? Feel free to respond to everyone if you want to have feedback, or you can leave the feedback directly in the. Oh yeah, you can comment, right? You can open on the. And make a comment, right? Can you show how to make comments?
Yeah, well, if you're seeing, can you see this? Basically, you can click here, add a comment, and add comments here in this document. They will be visible to everybody. So you can click it here.
Yes, feel free to update directly into this
Add some
document that I
comment,
posted.
right? I'll cancel here, but yeah. But I can see, like, for example, I had an editorial comment related to this sentence.
I believe it's correct. I believe it's correct. I can explain. I can explain. The device shall be implemented as USB composite device. Why? Because we expect that most of the implementations will be USB composite devices. Because, for example, MCTP will be there. But in the future, someone may decide that the USB recovery is so important that they will implement a dedicated. In that case, it's not composite device anymore. You cannot claim one interface and still be composite device. That's not impossible. That's not possible. Now, no one will do it ever, but that's why it shall be implemented as a USB composite device, because it's a this OCP recovery was treated not as a primary interface. It's a supporting interface, which is there just for very rare cases. That's why it says it shall be implemented as a composite device and might expose additional interfaces beyond the mandatory recovery interface because if it's not implemented as a USB composite device, it cannot implement more interfaces. That's my
so I
understanding.
think that was just some, I recall I had a comment here, the problem with this shell, it is kind of unconditional.
It's unconditional. You can still implement it as a USB device, but then you need to spare more hardware. Then you will have to do two controllers. Two host. It's a not a host device. I was so much about the host right now. It's a target endpoint and whatever. Dedicated USB device for this function, which no one is doing.
So, but I was thinking that if you want this to be mandatory, then
I don't want this to be
there should
mandatory.
be some sort of if condition or something like that, right? If additional
point taken.
protocols are
Now I
supported,
understand.
then it shall be composite.
It should be that.
Like
unless you have a dedicated interface for recovery, we expect the device to be implemented as a USB composite device. Yes.
I agree. This is the typical. I mean, this describes the typical scenario, but probably it's not like always. But it's a minor, I would say, kind of still maybe important, but minor.
It was highlighting that if you want to use this as a supplementary device, not as and DFU was built the same way, by the way. It's something in addition to existing device, but because they didn't want to enforce this composite device, they were changing the descriptors, if you remember. They have a dedicated descriptor for DFU, and when they reset, there is still descriptor for the DFU, but the rest is actually working as a standard device, which is, yeah. I understand. I will try to rephrase it, but honestly, yeah, it's a third attempt. Honestly, that's what you see.
Okay. So anyway, I think this is Mariusz's point still. If there's any additional feedback, please add comments or provide the feedback in another way.
Mariusz, a quick question on because this is coming from the OCP recovery spec. Do you know how close it is to be released?
I know it's ready. I wanted this to be released now.
Okay, but
I'm collecting the last feedback from you, honestly. Now
okay.
I want this to be.
Are we planning to release it through the OPMF group on the OCP recovery?
I discussed that, and it will be still released through the security group.
Okay, part of their security group. Okay.
Yes, but they said that they want us to over time to maybe take over it over time.
Okay.
The whole point is, as you see, this OBMF and OCP recovery, they kind of apply together because this is about this initial boot and aggregation of all of the boot devices. So we have, but some people are actually working on both sides. Some of people on this call are actually working also on the security side.
Okay. Understood.
I don't want to change anything like the ownership because that will postpone the release.
I understand. I understand.
And after the summit, I want to maybe we'll offer that we can host this document.
Okay. Good.
Does it
So
answer your question, Dwarka? It makes
Yeah,
sense.
no,
for
I
you?
got it. Yeah, it makes sense.
But do you feel like we should help with this document because it's kind of also in our agenda of our work group?
I mean, this is so much the management centric, where on one side we are dealing with the host side interface, on the other side we are dealing with potentially recovery of downstream devices, and aligns with the streaming boot. So there's so much centric to BMC. I I think it is okay to be part of this group.
At the same time, it's part of the IROT. This
Yes.
root of trust is very key, so that's why it was in security.
Yeah.
I'm fine either way, honestly, but I will make sure that every update to the spec will go through this group. Maybe that's what I can promise.
Okay, sounds good.
Right, so we are 3 minutes before the top of the hour. So as I mentioned this in the very beginning, but probably some of you were not there. So next week, I hope we'll be able to review the OCP Global Summit presentation, the kind of a final version that we need to submit, upload. That will summarize basically the current status, direction of where we are going as the group. That's something that we want to publicly say at the OCP Global. So I will upload the draft early next week, and hopefully we have a discussion. Are there any other topics that you want to bring for discussion next week?
Before next week, if you can take more ARs, with John Young, that's one AR. But if John will say yes, maybe you can help to facilitate this meeting with the USB chair.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I know that he has some connotations with Intel.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just trying to use some leverage to speed up this work, or maybe John want to facilitate, like for the DMTF. You remember, we've got the same. We've got a very similar request for MCTP over USB.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'll help with this as well, of course. Any other topics?
And feel free to share if someone from this, like say USB org, would like to see this spec that we are talking right now. Both of them, feel free to share them.
Okay.
USB org is not part of the CLA or BMF work group, but I've got agreement that we can share the OCP recovery. I believe it should be okay also to share this binding spec, right? Kind of a
the proposal of the binding spec. So we didn't really discuss this, I think, in detail.
No, but directionally, we want just to start assigning the subclass. That's what I am asking for. And review can go in parallel because we can change everything, right?
Yeah, makes sense. So I mean, yeah. So that the most important the blocker for us is the I mean
One byte value.
yeah, this kind of a class
Subclasses in interface.
or subclass, in
a
fact,
different.
yes. But yeah, I think so. What you're saying is to basically share this document with the
If you want,
USB.
it's up to you. It's okay
Mhm.
because if they will agree that the application specific class is okay, because as I said, for the OCP recover, this is no brainer. We have to have this subclass, and I feel comfortable with that. For this one, where we are assigning actually the Balkan Balkan, maybe we should go with the OEM class and maybe assign IANA for OCP, but then it will be OCP specific. I wish it's more like a application specific class with subclass, because or it could be a communication class like on CDC ACM. Maybe the person from USB will be kind of helpful here. I suggested the application specific, but this could be also in communication class, right? Because
Yeah,
this OBMF is in communication class. I'm fine either way. I have to drop to another meeting, but looking forward for the feedback on the OCP recovery, and of course the feedback here I will try to address for the next week. And in the meantime, we will work on the assignments.
Okay, great. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good rest of the day.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.